All right, today we are diving into a card game with a really wicked twist, a game that actually punishes you for being too good. We are going to crack open the algorithmic secrets of a game called Judgment, though you might know it by its more common name, Oh Hell.
Seriously? Just think about that for a second. In almost every single game you play, the whole point is to get more stuff. More points, more tricks, more everything. But what if the only way to actually win was to be perfect, to be precise?
And it all boils down to this one single rule, the exactness constraint. See, if you say you're going to win 3 tricks, you only get points if you win, well, exactly 3. If you win 2, you lose. If you win 4, you also lose. This is not about accumulation, it's about absolute perfect control. And this right here really shows you the massive strategic difference. You know, in most card games like Spades or Bridge, it's all about maximizing your resources. You want to grab as many tricks as you can. But Judgment, it's a game of variance minimization. You're not trying to be the best, you're trying to be the least wrong. It's about hitting your target perfectly.
So how in the world do you master a game like this?
Well, for this explainer, I want you to step into a role. You are the player, and your opponent is a perfect, cold, calculating AI that we're going to call the administrator. Our job today is to learn its logic, to understand its protocols, and figure out how it finds perfection in a game that's just built on pure chaos. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the core idea of exactness. Then we'll break down the 2 main phases, the bid and the play. We'll get into the dreaded dealer's dilemma, and finally, we'll see how the administrator truly masters all that chaos. Sound good? Let's go. Okay, first up, the game of exactness. This is really the philosophical heart of it all. In this world, the value of a card, even a super powerful ace, is completely 100% dependent on what you bid. Which leads us straight into phase 1, the bid. Now, for us humans, bidding can feel like a bit of a gut feeling, a little bit of guesswork. But for the administrator, oh no. It is a cold, hard calculation of the probabilistic trick potential of every single card in its hand. And here's what's so cool. The administrator doesn't just have one single strategy. Its entire logic adapts based on the hand size. For these tiny micro hands with just 1 card, it's all pure solvable math. But for those huge macro hands with 8 or more cards, the focus totally shifts to controlling suits. The strategy literally transforms from round to round. Just look at the 1-card round to see how wild this gets. You think an ace is always a winner, right? And yeah, if it's a trump ace, you're absolutely right. It's 100% lock. But look over at the non-trump ace. Suddenly, your chance of winning plummets to just about 34%. Why? Because it's so incredibly likely that someone else is holding that one single trump card. And this, right here, is the administrator's ice-cold logic in action. It knows, based purely on the math, that a jack of trumps is a way better bet for winning 1 trick than an ace of a different suit. You know, our human intuition gets this wrong almost every time. The machine? It never does. Okay, let's talk about maybe the most stressful part of this entire game, the dealer's dilemma, or as it's sometimes called, the agony of the hook. The hook rule is so simple and it just brutal. Let's say there are 5 tricks up for grabs in the round. The other player's bids add up to 3. Well, if you're the dealer, you are legally forbidden from bidding 2. The total bids can't match the tricks. And what this does is guarantee that someone is going to fail every single time. So what does our perfect AI, the administrator, do when it gets hooked? It doesn't panic, it just follows its protocol. First, it calculates what its bid should be. Then, it identifies the forbidden number. Next, and this is the key part, it analyzes its hand. Is it swingy, filled with high-risk, high-reward cards? Then it bids 1 higher and plans to get aggressive. Or is the hand flat, full of safe, predictable cards? Then it bids 1 lower and prepares to get rid of tricks. So the bid is locked in. Now we're in phase 2, the play. And this is where the administrator stops thinking like a card player and starts acting more like a thermostat. It becomes a target state control system for winning tricks. See, at any given moment, it knows which of these 3 states it's in. There's the deficit state, where it's behind and needs to win more. There's the surplus state, where it's won too many and has to start losing. And then there's that perfect, beautiful, balanced state, where it's exactly on target. And this matrix, this is its playbook. If it's in a deficit, it leads a high trump to force out other big cards. If it's in a surplus, it does something that's just brilliant. It leads from a danger suit, like one where it holds a king, hoping to God someone else has the ace and is forced to take a trick it desperately doesn't want.
And to manage a surplus, the most important tool is the exit card. Think of it as your get-out-of-jail-free card. It's a tiny little card, like a 2 of a non-trump suit, that is basically guaranteed to lose. The administrator holds onto these things like they're solid gold, saving them for that moment it absolutely has to give up the lead.
And this all serves the main goal when you're in a surplus: ducking. It literally means you deliberately play a low card to avoid winning a trick you could have taken. Imagine you're holding the ace, but you're in surplus. The administrator's programming is crystal clear. You play your 3 and let somebody else win. It feels so wrong, but to the machine, it's just logic. Okay, finally, let's look at how the administrator takes it to another level. We're talking about insights that go way beyond the basic rules. This is where the AI's logic starts to look less like science and almost like art. Take something called the zero-bid paradox. Let's say you're dealt a garbage hand, but it has one lonely, unprotected king. Your human brain screams, "Bid 0!" But the administrator knows that's a trap. That king is almost certain to be forced to win a trick late in the game when all the higher cards are gone. So the correct logical bid isn't 0, it's 1.
And that's what it all comes down to. The ultimate strategy for this game isn't just a list of rules. It's an algorithm of constant, never-ending adaptation to the context of the game. The goal is never just to win tricks. It's to minimize your error and achieve that one single, beautiful goal of exactness.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final question to think about. In a game that completely strips away human ego and rewards nothing but pure, dispassionate logic, can a human ever really be the best? Or is the perfect judgment player, by its very definition, a machine? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.